Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And, well, Stephen A. Smith got somebody else looking for him right now. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel, man. So, shout out to the Art of Dialogue. He has a pretty good interview here that he's doing with former NBA player, former New York Knicks, Charles Oakley, right? And Oakley's been talking about a lot of things. Obviously, everybody knows who Charles Oakley is, former Knick, tough guy, and all of this. But during this sit down, from the clips that I've seen, Oakley looked like he'd been whooping everybody's ass, man. Now, I did hear one clip from his show where he was talking about a situation that he had with Isaiah Thomas. Now, that particular clip confused me. Why am I saying this? Because Oakley, from the reputation that he has, he'd be putting them paws on people. But in this particular clip, it sounded like Isaiah Thomas ran down on him and was trying to put his goon down on him. And Isaiah Thomas ran up on him at an airport, and he was chasing, like not chasing him, but following him around the airport. I'm like, yo, if you about to, but Isaiah Thomas from Chicago. And he wanted all the smoke. So Oakley's doing X, Y, and Z to everybody else. And I'm like, why you ain't do it to Isaiah Thomas? Like, he was right there. And we all know Isaiah Thomas. Well, if you know, you know. So anyway, they were talking to him about a bunch of things. And they brought up Stephen A. Smith, right? As you guys know, Oakley likes LeBron James a lot. And Stephen A. Smith has had his issues with LeBron James that we all know about. He's made it public. So during this clip, they brought up the part where they were talking about Stephen A. Smith. And apparently, Charles Oakley had an issue with Stephen A. Smith. And he talked about he looking for him. He looking for him, that he should be on the lookout for next time he sees him. I'm like, what? So for those of y'all to hear what Charles Oakley had to say, want to play for you now, and we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Charles Oakley had to say here.
How's your relationship with Stephen A. right now? I know at one point you was mad, right, that he didn't defend you against the Knicks owner.
He danced around it. But he hollered about this and that. They know this man's a bad man, but they can't go 100% out about him. It's just how the world go around. When came up with my book, I got some straw to pick with him because he knew that my book came out and he didn't invite me on the show to promote my book. I think that was a smack in the face because we both went to a historic black college, and his book came out, but I'm saying he got a platform. He could have I've been on the show before. Come promote your book and we'll talk about the game and talk about the Knicks. He didn't do none of that. So when I see him, I'm gonna have some words for him. And then he could have had his crew to go down to Virginia Union, homecoming. He haven't done that yet. So I got a lot of little things to pick with him, and I'm gonna let him know when I see him. I think that I had a lot of guys: Reggie Miller, Brad Daugherty, LeBron, Chris Paul. Chris Paul, all them guys who saw that. Doc Rivers, he was coaching. A lot of guys spoke up, but just no one I played with over 100 some guys in my 10 years in New York. No one spoke up.
So you heard what Charles Oakley had to say. What are my thoughts about this? You heard the story. Stephen A. Smith didn't plug his book and he wanted him to come on the show and interview him about it. He also brought up the situation with the Knicks and James Dolan. You guys remember that scene. I think the next day on ESPN First Take, they even brought up Spike Lee. And was it somebody else? No, I don't remember. But Spike Lee was also brought up there for some issues he had with Dolan at the Garden. But that was a really big thing. Y'all remember. If you remember, you remember. But then he said how Stephen A. Smith didn't speak up for him. And then Oakley had a book and he would have, I think, wanted Stephen A. Smith wanted to go on, I guess, First Take to talk about the book and all of that stuff. So he had an issue with him and he said he's looking for him too. What are my thoughts about this? Well, every time I've seen Stephen A. Smith, and I've never seen him in person, but every time I've seen Stephen A. Smith don't just be walking around by himself. Stephen A. Smith has security. And I think that's a wise thing to do. I wouldn't suggest having security if you like Stephen A. Smith is a $100 million guy, right? So I wouldn't suggest or recommend you having security if you're worth that kind of money if no one knows you. If no one knows you and you're just a guy that's making a lot of money or has made a lot of money, and you don't bring attention to yourself, maybe you don't dress loud, you don't wear jewelry, you're not a flamboyant person, I don't see any reason for you to have security because nobody knows you, right? No one knows who you are, and you don't stick out like a sore thumb. But in the case of Stephen A. Smith, given the fact that I don't really see Stephen A. Smith rocking jewelry, like I don't see him being as a loud guy or whatever. I'm talking about the way he dresses, but he is known. He's a known person, and he's quite famous. So, and you got some crazy people out here who don't agree with some of his sports takes and all of that. So it makes sense for him to have security. In terms of him wanting to see Stephen A. Smith is a slick talker too, right? Stephen A. Smith can talk his way into and out of things as well. So I don't see a situation where Charles Oakley will see Stephen A. Smith and put his hands on him or like that's not going to happen. I don't see that happening at all. But based on what Oakley said, and he's not happy about it, and based off everything that I've heard about him, it seems like when Charles Oakley finally catches up with Stephen A. Smith, he's going to give him a piece of his mind. And he going to let him know like, yo, bro, I don't like the fact that you did this and did that and did this. Now, what will be interesting is if Stephen A. Smith does a show reacting to this. Because y'all know Stephen A. Smith going to react to everything, right? Stephen A. Smith be sitting back waiting for people to diss him just so he can respond to them. Like, Stephen A. Smith be on that time, bro. He be on that type of time. So I'm wondering, is Stephen A. Smith going to like hear what Charles Oakley said here and decide to say, you know what, I'm going to respond to you and be like, oh, I ain't hard. You know how Stephen A. Smith be doing. I ain't hard to find, man. If you want to meet me, just call me, man. Let me know where you at. And I'm curious if Stephen A. Smith is going to go at Charles Oakley with that energy. I'm very curious. Now, I don't think he will. And even if he does, I think he's going to do it in kind of like a joking kind of way. Not like he's serious, like, yeah, I'm looking at, yeah, wherever you at, I'm going to be, nah. I think even if he does that, I think it's going to be like in a joking way because I don't think Stephen A. Smith wants no physical altercation with Charles Oakley. And these guys are in their 50s. So, I mean, I don't know why 50-year-old men will be looking to throw hands with one another. But hey, it does happen. So I'll be interested to hear how this thing goes, if anything comes from it in the future. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Catch you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.